Welcome to lesson 6 of the beginner drawing tutorial. In today's lesson, we're going to be drawing our first still life. So, what is a still life? A still life is usually a drawing or painting of objects in and around the house. Now, there are two kinds. One is inanimate objects. That means non-moving objects, objects that cannot move. For example, plates, bowls, forks, knives, spoons, material. And then that's divided into non-living. Then you get living still life objects that can be defined as flowers, a bouquet of flowers, and an arrangement of flowers. It can be food, fruit, vegetables, or poultry or meat. So basically, still life is a painting or a drawing of inanimate objects. Now, in the past, famous artists such as Paul Cézanne and Vermeer come to mind, where they did a lot of still life portrait paintings or pictures. So in today's exercise, we're going to keep it simple. So we're going to take all the skill that you have learned up to this point and combine them into one exercise. So you want to get your setup ready. So first things I want to mention is you can find fruit or an orange or a banana even around your house. Choose something that you can draw. I'm choosing an apple today because it's the easiest in terms of shading and drawing. So let's start. To get your sample set up, you want to choose a place where you can sit comfortably, have your sketching ready, sketch pad ready, and your pencils. Today we're going to start using a 2B pencil and a 3B for drawing. So let's get started, and your eraser. So what I want to do is I'm going to show you the apple on my screen here, and then I'm going to move it up first. So you want to position your apple. So you can either choose to do your setup like this, or you can choose to do it like that. Up to you. If it's a long object or a landscape object, we call this landscape, and this one is portrait. Otherwise, vertical or horizontal. Okay, so let's get started. Get yourself ready. I'm going to be moving my apple further up so that I can see it better. Okay, so now, once you have your setup in front of you, your table, what you want to do is you're going to start with the basic measurements. So I'm going to be doing, I think let's do it this way. Yeah, keep it this way. It's one item, so let's keep it this way. So what I want to do is the rule of thirds. You want to start with that, which is basically not drawing something in the middle. When we talk about rule of thirds, it's a frame. If you ever have a single lens camera or DSLR, you often have grid lines. So we call it rule of thirds. You may also use a viewfinder in this case. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by measuring my apple. Here we go, very lightly, from left to right, and then I'm going to do top to bottom to get it in place. So I'm just going to put it right there, and then get that done. Okay, so very lightly, very basic shape. Okay, and now I'm going to start with the details. So you don't want to draw too heavy on your pad. Let me see if I've got a B pencil. Ah, there we go. Here's my B pencil. Sorry, guys. So I'm going to use my B pencil first. And I'm going to start drawing. So what you want to do is you want to draw bit by bit by bit by bit for your apple. Okay. very basic shape. Okay. And you want to keep any kind of imperfections, which is good because each apple is not exactly 100% the same shape. So this setup might be easy. Okay, so once you have that ready, you can go ahead and start to erase some of your lighter lines. Okay, and draw in here, simple shape. Here. Okay, keep that. And I'm going to keep doing this until I'm satisfied with what I'm seeing. Okay, so now I see something very different. So keep in mind that your drawing of your apple might not look exactly the same as mine, and that's okay. If you'll notice, what I'm doing each time is I'm drawing bit by bit by bit. So I'm going over the contour line and checking each shape. And so anything that doesn't fancy you, or you use your eye to check, you can do that. Right. So once you feel that you've got your drawing in place, you can start to kind of erase any of the lines that don't serve a purpose, or if it's too dark. For example, I find my drawing a little bit too dark for me at this point, but it's so that you can actually see. So clean up the middle. Okay, and then I'm going to choose my 2B pencil, switch it up. It's going to do that. Okay, and then we're going to start with shading. Okay, so you want to pay attention to where the light's coming from. So I have two light sources. Mine is coming from the top and from my left hand side, so this side would naturally appear darker in this case. So when you start your shading, you're going to start with the positive stuff. So that means the positive is the objects and the negative is the background here. So it's always a good idea to kind of start off lighter first and draw shorter lines. That way you can erase it if necessary and always go darker in the areas. So remember, form follows function. In this case, as I've heard this before for something else, what this means is you have to follow the shape, so, or the contour of your object. And pay careful attention. When you do your shading, I like to keep my lines very short. Make sure that you don't draw it too long because it will look like hair or fine hair. So you really want to keep your lines short and not too long. Short, controlled, and spaced out. So I've got my light coming from the top and then from here. So I've got some light going here. Just a little bit. Personally, I feel that line's too dark. It should be lighter. Okay. There we go. Didn't have to do that, but it was bothering me, so around the left I'll go much lighter. Before going darker. Still using my F pencil. Okay, so I'm going to switch to my 3B for shading. So again, the light's coming from my left and then the top, my screen. So, okay, again, check your pencil points. Okay, something I like to do when I go to the back of my sketchbook and I want to check the pressure, I can always do that. One technique. So I'm going to start on one side. You do not have to go as fast as I'm doing it. You can go much slower. So you really want to check the areas on your apple. And by the way, I'm not looking at my actual drawing. I'm actually looking at the apple in front of me. You should be looking at your apple at least 90% and 10% at your drawing. And don't worry if you make a mistake, you always have an eraser. So try to look away from your sketch pad and look at the actual object. Okay, so this line is a bit too sharp for me. A nifty little trick that you could do, take off the cover, you've got sharp points here. So if you need to get like into detail. Okay. Now I'm erasing this line because it's kind of bothering me a little bit. Okay. And then here you've got your highlight. So if you want to get to like little bits, kind of do that. Again, short lines. Make sure that your apple looks like an apple and not a kiwi. So I'm going to start going in darker. So let's get back to the darker parts of things. Okay, I'm still using a 3B. So now I kind of want to go in there. And go much lighter. Let's go back into this. So what I did there was I left a space there. And you kind of want to do, I'm going to remove this line. Go. Remove that smudge line. And then I'm going to have my core or my stem. I'm not colouring in, I'm drawing lines. Okay, so I'm going to switch to here. So careful of smudging, you'll get that a lot. You want to keep the space kind of open. Nice and clean. Clean it up a bit. Okay. So there's your apple. Okay. Just clean up some other spaces a bit. Okay, as again, you can use the side of your ruler and just kind of draw lines like that, but just very gently. And your highlights. Okay. So now I want to add my shading at the bottom. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to choose one direction, not the band. Just gently draw that space. This is your shadow. And you want to decide to just go underneath and do that. Like that. Shorter brush strokes. I mean pencil strokes. Brush strokes. Where's my brain today? And there you go. That's it. Simple Still Life. You can slow it down. I drew very fast, and keep in mind that I'm experienced. You can slow it down up to an hour. Very simple shape. I'm going to finish up my details. Let's have a look here. Go with more lines. There we go. Keep it simple. Use your eraser to clean up areas where it's supposed to be more clean. Keep that line in mind. And you can sign your name on the left. And there we go. Done.